Right wing on right wing crime tends to be an issue these days as Trump loyalists feud with people like Representative Liz Cheney, who actually shockingly wants to do a thorough investigation into the Capitol riots that took place on January 6th. Now, the latest update on this whole select committee thing is that Kevin McCarthy decided to choose two individuals, Representatives Jim Banks and Jim Jordan, to serve on that bipartisan select committee. But the problem is, those are two people who are Trump loyalists and two people who are not gonna take this investigation as seriously as they should. So House Speaker Nancy Pelosi rejected them. Kevin McCarthy decided to take his ball and go home. And now Representative Liz Cheney, who has all sorts of issues, of course, has decided to go after McCarthy. Let's watch.
We supported what would have been the very best option, which was a bipartisan independent commission. The minority leader opposed that. He lobbied against it in the Senate, and the Senate blocked it. And at every opportunity, the minority leader has attempted to prevent the American people from understanding what happened, to block this investigation. This investigation must go forward. The idea that anybody would be playing politics with an attack on the United States Capitol is despicable and is disgraceful.
McCarthy, of course, wants to become Speaker next year. Do you think that he deserves to be Speaker in the aftermath of his actions here?
I think that any person who would be third in line to the presidency must demonstrate a commitment to the Constitution and a commitment to the rule of law. And Minority Leader McCarthy has not done that.
Rashad, I don't know how to feel about Liz Cheney because I agree with everything she said there. What is her play? Is it because she genuinely cares about the Constitution and wants to do the right thing? I mean, she's had a horrendous record. I've got no love for McCarthy either, but what do you think's going on here?
Liz Cheney can kick rocks as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
She's the policy that she has supported, or policies she has supported, hurts people in communities that I love. So let me make that very clear. She happens to be right on this one issue. Now, my dad would tell me a broke clock is right twice a day. That's all you see here. Now, she's obviously on the side of let's investigate what happened on January 6th, but she's not, she's not for the policy change. She's not talking about systemic racism in the United States. She's not willing to support policy that creates equality or equity for all races of people in the United States. She's still very much so opposed to the real work of policy. Remember, and I know some people may disagree with me on this, but it's true. Investigation or no investigation, how does that change the policy dynamic of people suffering all across the United States of America? I want a real investigation. You're not going to get one from these people, just not going to happen. I would like to see it. But you know what I would like to also see? I would like to see a policy shift. I would like to see a policy support of people who are disenfranchised. And Cheney's not going to give you this. So she gets to play the good guy for a minute. But the truth is, when you eliminate the reality of this investigation chaos, she is still opposed to progress for black and brown and disenfranchised people in the country. So I have no problem providing proper context to who she is politically, even if she agrees with one investigation that I agree should move forward as well.
I mean, when you think about it, it's similar to everything that we've been experiencing in American politics for decades now, which is rather than address the root cause of a problem, something that's happened, the focus is on finding a Band-Aid to, hopefully stop the bleeding temporarily, but it doesn't really solve the root of the problem. And so when I think about Liz Cheney's behavior as a member of Congress, she has not been willing to speak out against the right wing doing away with a unit within the Department of Homeland Security that was investigating right wing extremism in this country beginning under the Obama administration. They started noticing that there was a problem with sovereign citizens and right-wing militias and right-wing terrorists in the country. And rather than allow for DHS, Department of Homeland Security, to do what it's supposed to do in keeping track of these things and investigating these things, they pressured the Obama administration to do away with that unit within the Department of Homeland Security. So there's that issue. But also, I think that you're so right, Rashad, in bringing up the disenfranchised communities and how this didn't come out of nowhere, right? The division in the country, the hatred that we're seeing among one another, that's been exacerbated by material conditions in the United States that isn't really being addressed by either party, at least not in a fundamental way. We do have some progressive members of Congress who do want to address those things in a fundamental way, who do want to do more than just throw money at these issues. They actually want systemic change. They want fundamental change to our economic system, to the way that we think about things like healthcare, for instance, just things that would fundamentally and materially improve people's lives. I think that's the best bet in regard to uniting Americans. But we're not really having a robust debate or conversation about that. Most of our robust debates and conversations have to do with, very clear political theater, in my opinion, right? Like, what can these lawmakers do to posture and give people the illusion of governing and working on their behalf? And it's frustrating. I think that's part of the reason why this particular story really gets under my skin, because it doesn't seem like this is really about an investigation or finding robust solutions to what we're experiencing in this country. It feels like this is all about political theater and posturing.
That's all it is. And Anna, what you're feeling is the reality that this is all an ultimate game of one-upism. That's all it is. These individuals who are in charge of all of this rhetoric, holding the press conferences, saying what will and will not happen, they are some extreme political creatures. Their actions are well calculated, well choreographed, and then they bring you the piece that they want you to listen to, and that is it. Once again, we're failing to address the assault on basic history in the United States of America. Where's the conversation nationally on that? We're having these conversations state by state, but state governments are passing legislation to literally eliminate a teacher's ability to teach about the racist core and the perverted history of this country as it relates to race relations. Well, that's a conversation we need to have, because it is part of the conversation of why the Capitol happened, why the insurrection happened. It is connected to the core of us giving a wink and a nod as a nation to white supremacy. Back in 2006, a report came out from the DOJ. It said clearly, here's what's happening. You have white supremacists who are infiltrating law enforcement, and it is one of the greatest domestic threats in the United States of America. Did they pass laws to stop it? Did they increase transparency in reporting? Did they have a George Floyd Policing and Accountability Act on the table back then? No. None of that was a national conversation, even though you had this damning report. So while we can debate about the investigation, and like I said, I agree it needs to move forward, we're missing some of these other debates because of this shiny thing they've told us to pay attention to.
Yes, absolutely. Couldn't agree more with you on that one.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.